Okay, so I found this video that I wanted to share with everyone, and it comes from an Australian TikTok creator. And her video is titled, Outside View on the US, Why No One is Coming to Save You. I can relate to this video because I get a lot of emails and DMs from US citizens on the left, asking us to save them. I mean, I've had people tell me to promote US businesses on my channel, or others saying that we have to come from Canada into the United States and help protest. Why the hell would we do that? It's not my country. But what we will do is help boycott, but that's about it. This is why this TikTok creator from Australia's message really resonated with me, because I can totally relate to it. So I want to share it with everybody today. The backdrop for today's video comes from Garuto, from our Discord server, and he took this photo from Woodbine Beach in Ontario. I appreciate you posting up all of the photos in the Discord server. Now just a reminder, there's 2 petitions that I'm featuring on my channel. On the left is from Heather McPherson, and the TLDR, this one is to get ICE and any sort of contracts out of Canada. The one on the right is from Bruce Fanjoy, and this one is to make sure that all of our federal MPs get the proper security clearance. If you want to check out any of these petitions or read them over, the link will be in the description below as well as the pinned comment. Okay, let's get started with the video from the Australian citizen. And before I start, I just want to give a heads up to my US viewers. Some of this might be tough for you guys to hear. And I'll be honest with you, it's not directed at you. If you're supporting my channel, or even Josh's channel, I already know that you're not in the US exceptionalism bubble, so this message isn't directed at you. But unfortunately, it's directed at a big portion of your fellow citizens.
So I have a question for Americans. To those asking people overseas for help with regards to what's happening in the States right now with the Trump regime. And before I ask that question, hi, I'm Danny, I'm from Australia. And I've been posting about providing an outsider's perspective to Americans on what's happening in the States. I decided to do that because I'd see a lot of Americans on TikTok saying, where is the international community? What do other people think? What are you seeing? It's not getting through. And I've been so lucky that I've been able to get through to some Americans and I've been getting some answers. And to those who've engaged with me, thank you very much for letting me know how you're going, letting me know your perspectives. It's been really, really informative to me. And I hope my view is helpful to you in some way. But let's go back to the original question. When Americans say, we need help, what help do you want? What do you want us to do? And I'm not asking that in some sort of obnoxious way. I genuinely am curious. What do you think we can do or should do for you?
Now, I get this question a lot, and I really don't know how to respond to it, because it's not my country. The United States voted for this. And I know that some of the haters are going to say, oh, the election was rigged. Okay, fair enough. If it was rigged, it's part of the system of the United States. But what is happening in the United States right now is not just affecting the people in the US, it's affecting the entire world. And this is causing the entire world to wonder, when the hell is the United States going to do something about it?
I know what I'm doing. I'm posting videos offering my perspective from an outsider's view as to what is happening so that you don't feel gaslit or going crazy. So that you can get a different kind of perspective about what's going on in your country from an outsider's view. I'm not American. I do not live there. This is just an outsider's perspective. But I don't want you to feel alone and gaslit and confused and crazy, because I know that authoritarian regimes are very, very effective at doing that to their populations. And while I have said previously, you're in an authoritarian regime, I think you are there, or what's most likely to be, you are very, very much on your way there. Your institutions are crumbling and executive power is far too strong. And you might feel, and many of you do feel, lost and isolated, like the rest of the world doesn't care what's happening to you and they're not going to come to help. It's not that the rest of the world doesn't care, it's that they're not going to come help. This is something that Americans need to deal with. You made this. A lot of you did not vote for this president, and that's fine, but you're in a democracy. This is the president that won those elections, and this is the president that's in power.
Again, I totally agree with this. And whether it was a corrupt election or not, this entire mess that we're in right now is the output of the election. I'm pretty sure that most of the US citizens that are following or subscribed to my channel did not vote for the Orange McNugget. But unfortunately, many of your citizens did, and many of your citizens couldn't be bothered to vote at all. I know you guys know this, you guys are smart. But unfortunately, there's many of your fellow citizens that don't understand it.
And this is the president that very questionably will not surrender power. I'm highly suspicious that he would ever surrender power willingly. Like, look what happened at January 6th. But this is an American issue. And you can have our love and sympathy and support, and we can talk to you about what's going on and how we see it, and we can try and encourage you and embolden you. We can't do it for you. We can't fix this issue for you. We can only be a friend to you. In the same way that a friend can't make another friend break up with their shitty boyfriend or deal with their drug or alcohol addiction or any other thing like that. In that same way, we can't make you be better. And also, this is where I really might lose some of you. I'm going to say something uncomfortable. A lot of Americans have cost the United States a lot of goodwill internationally. For a very long time, people in other countries, and particularly ally countries, have been dealing with a culture of hubris and American exceptionalism and an arrogance that is incredibly off-putting. Now, obviously, I can't speak for everyone outside the US, but this is just, again, my perspective.
No, I'm a Canadian, and I wholeheartedly agree with your perspective. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers do as well. I don't think I have ever said the word US exceptionalism as much as I have in the last year. I mean, I knew it was always there. I just kind of shrugged it off. You know, when you get those comments from the US citizens saying that they're better, or that Canada's just a little brother. But I think since the beginning of last year, the entire world just said, you know what, we had enough.
A little bit about how I feel, but also how I see a lot of other people feel. You guys behave like dicks, and you have a lot when it comes to the rest of the world. This is just a tiny example, but I was traveling in Europe, and I made some friends with some Americans there, and they were really, really lovely people. And this was quite a long time ago. And they asked how they could reach out to me at home in Australia. And they asked me, do you have email in Australia? They thought that I came from a kind of country that didn't have email, and that America was so amazing that it was the only country in the world that had email. Americans have spent a lot of time talking to people overseas like we are a bunch of basically poor, degenerate losers.
You don't have to go overseas for that. We're right next to the United States, and I've been asked if I own a snowmobile, or if I live in an igloo, or if I crave maple syrup 24/7. See, the problem, just in my opinion, is that they can't be bothered to research, or even see that there are things in Canada that are just as good, if not better. And when you hear these snark comments, it does put a bad image on all United States citizens. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had any of these snark comments before? And if so, what did they say? And to my US viewers, I do apologize if you feel offended right now. But I do feel that if you are following my channel, you are a step above the rest of your citizens. But unfortunately, this is the truth about many of your fellow US citizens.
And our greatest dream in life would be to get a chance to move to the United States, which is simply untrue. Now, I love Americans. I've had, lots of American friends. There's a reason that I'm posting this stuff. It's because I genuinely care about what happens to you guys. I care about your constitution as someone who's an idealist and a philosopher of sorts, and as someone who loves political science and law. I mean, that's why this stuff really, really matters to me, and I care what happens to you. I genuinely do. But the most you're going to get, really, from anyone overseas is, I'm so sorry this is happening to you, offering an outside perspective and encouraging you to, do whatever you need to do. Make your own decisions about how to deal with this issue. No one's coming to save you. Also, there's huge geopolitical and military reasons why, we wouldn't even do that in any sort of formal way. Our government wouldn't do that in any sort of formal way. That's, America is our ally. The US government is our ally. Australian and US governments are allies. We have substantial military assets, the US military assets in our country. Ally nations will act within their own best interests, even when the US is pushing them away and treating their allies with contempt. No one's coming for you. No one's coming to help you.
I don't think any allied country, can I even say allied anymore? But what I'm trying to say is that any country's government will not go in and interfere with what's going on right now. I wouldn't want them to either. I would not want Canada to go in and defend the Democrats. In my opinion, that would just make things a lot worse, because Canada, Australia, UK, or any other country that decides to help is going to become a target on the right.
You're going to have to deal with this yourself. And I'm sorry to say, I know a lot of you didn't vote this in, I know, but again, as a people in aggregate, you made this problem and you're going to have to fix it. And I say that as a friend. I say that as a friend who cares. It is worth reflecting as Americans how you have behaved to people from other countries, how you have been so arrogant about your exceptionalism, about what an amazing country you live in and how everyone must want to come live in America. That, oh my gosh, you're the dream. And above like an interpersonal level where Americans have had a culture of hubris and arrogance and disrespect towards people in other countries, not all Americans, but a lot, enough to make it a interesting and unique problem that is only really seen as much from Americans. Your foreign policy. Your foreign policy has caused a lot of pain and harm across the world. And my country has followed you into it without question, with blind loyalty, in almost every single case. And that has cost us dearly, dearly.
If you're Canadian, I know this one hits home for you, because it does for me. Because I always think about all the blind loyalty that we've had to the United States, Afghanistan, helping them in 9/11, assisting with natural disasters. Countries like Australia, Canada, and all the other ones that have helped the United States, we did it because we thought we were friends. And it wasn't like what the Orange McNugget is doing now, where everything is based on transactions. There is a part of me that thinks about everything that Canada has done for the United States. During 9/11, when we took in all their planes, or more recently, when the LA wildfires happened. Part of me wants to say, you know what, if those situations happen again, you guys are on your own. But morally, inside, at least for me, I wouldn't feel right just abandoning people like that. I mean, it's a human thing to do. If people are in trouble, you go and help. At least that's how excuse me, at least that's how I was raised.
When 9/11 happened, I remember Australians were shocked. There was grief. I mean, I remember going to school that day because I was 11, 12 years old. And yeah, it was bizarre. And definitely at my school, everyone was just completely stunned. And we jumped into that war on terror. It was like, someone did that, let's go. We jumped into that war on terror and also the war in Iraq without question. And our military service people have suffered. They've also suffered. I mean, there was a lot of loss of life of US soldiers due to the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. We've been there with you. And I'm a person that has family in the military. Look at Denmark. Look at what's happening with Greenland and what's Trump saying about Greenland. The Danes, Denmark is a very, very small country, and it also responded with absolute loyalty to the United States for the war on terror. On a per capita basis, on a scaled down basis, the Danes took heavy losses following the US into war, and now the US is talking about taking Greenland. Again, that's the regime, that's not you. I understand that that's the Trump administration doing that. But the cost of goodwill is not just what has happened under the Trump administration. It has been a long-standing culture of behavior by a lot of the American people, and it is our experience of the impacts of US foreign policy.
I really feel like this is the tipping point for a lot of countries. Not just the countries and their government, but also the citizens as well. I'll never look at the United States the same way again, even though I spent so much time there. But for me, it's bringing back every single situation where we were belittled or insulted or bullied, and it's adding to my boycott on a daily basis.
I don't say this to upset you, I just say it to kind of deliver it to you straight. And frankly, me posting an outsider's perspective on these issues, which is critical of an authoritarian regime of a country as powerful as the United States, that is not without risk to me. I know that sounds dramatic and silly from Australia. Oh, you're in Australia, it doesn't matter. I cannot explain to you why necessarily, but I certainly know that by posting these things, I will never be allowed into the United States. And there are other risks associated with that. They're very minor compared to the ones that you face, but it's not, talking like this with you is not without risk to me as well. Sorry, this was long and ranty, but I really wanted to kind of explain why You have my love, you have my support. Let's talk about it. I want to encourage you. I want you to hear your stories. I want to be there for you, but I cannot do this for you, and no one else internationally is going to do it for you. Love you though, I do.
Not sure I agree with her on that last part. I do love some US citizens, like the one that follow my channel, and our good friend Josh, and his followers. But I do not love the ones on the right, and I do not love the ones on the administration. Okay, I gotta make this quick because you can hear the co-host, she wants attention. But one thing I do want to mention, she did make a good point, that creating this video does put her at risk, and we all know this. A lot of US citizens won't understand it. But we're at risk, even myself, and that's why I stay confidential on my channel. If there is a reason for us to go to the United States and we have to deal with CBP, it is a huge risk to us. For any content creator that's outside of the United States that is criticizing the Orange McNugget, that right there is going to be a red flag to CBP. But with all the tech giants already starting to hand over data to ICE and Department of Homeland Security, I don't think anybody around the world is safe anymore. Your data is already going to be with them. Now, this video is already getting a bit long, and I haven't even got to her comments yet. So if you want me to do a part 2 on this video and start to show the comments from the US citizens to her video, let me know in the comments below and just put in something like, yeah, create part 2 video or something like that. I felt this was important to share with everyone because, especially for my Canadian viewers, I don't know about you, but at least for me, for most of last year, I actually felt that Canadians were alone. Alone in the fight against the United States. And it really wasn't until I started seeing international viewers watching my videos that I started to realize, hey, we have support around the world. So hearing videos like this, it shows that, hey, I'm not the only one that sees the US exceptionalism. Australia sees it too. Same with the UK, Sweden, and everywhere else. So to my Canadian viewers, I do hope that this video helps and shows that we have solidarity around the world against the United States. That's all I have for today's video. If you guys do want me to make part 2, please let me know. I mean, I kind of want to make it, but I want to see if the viewers want to see it as well. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian point of view, or actually an international point of view, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to go play with my cat now.